Had a good wreckage.
Ah, yes, you.
Malcolm Wilson's co-driver Nigel Harris was of course joking. Wreckies are strictly forbidden on all three mainland events of the Open Championship, which arguably leaves foreigners like Michel Mouton at something of a disadvantage. Toyota's Swedish star Per Eklund at least has a British co-driver, and Dave Whittock is busy here helping Per tackle the first special stage in Cardiff's Bute Park. Scotsman Jimmy McRae also uses an English co-driver, which could be considered something of a disadvantage in Wales. Returning to his familiar Group A Toyota Corolla GT after debuting the much larger Supra on the circuit of Ireland, Eklund is on his first run over Eppin's military ranges at the infamous Four Ways Bridge, which has already witnessed the demise of the rally's course opening car. Eklund is here being overhauled by McRae's more powerful Group B Opel. After his Irish disappointment, McRae's teammate Brooks is quietly determined to get his revenge on this one. And keen to put his Irish disappointment behind him, first round winner Malcolm Wilson heads for fastest time here in Bute Park. While on Eppint, Terry Cavy's Nissan traverses territory that's familiar to the majority of British rally drivers, particularly Welshman and birthday boy David Llewellyn, who with his English co-driver Phil Short is immediately on the pace in his Audi Quattro. Second in the championship, Irishman Bertie Fisher in his Opel Manta is destined for a short and fraught event. A misfire here on Eppint spells doom. At last, an all-English combination. Tony Bond, Rob Arthur and the Rover Vitesse. And now a French Peugeot, a Finnish driver, and yes, a British co-driver. Sundstrom and White in the Group A 205. Phil Collins has made Eppint something of a speciality in recent years, and with 270 horsepower, he's had little trouble in overhauling Hoglin's 140 horsepower Skoda 130. And now enter stage left, an astonishing combination set to stretch the imagination. A Yorkshire Lord and an Audi Quattro. Take a bow, Chris. Meanwhile, the leaders have completed their first run over Eppint. A grimly determined Brooks has shouldered his way to the front.
I think we've got something like an 8-second lead over Jimmy. I think it's useful for us to try and pull out as much time as we can on the tarmac Eppint stages, because it's going to be very, very difficult to beat the Quattros in the forest, and the real big joker at the moment is dust. Michel will have a clear road. If the wind dies down this evening, it's going to be very, very difficult for the cars following it.
Escardafith Hill Climb and Michel Mouton and her Italian co-driver Fabrizio Pons are trying hard to regain lost time now that the Quattro is back on gravel. With forceful driving, Brooks just retains his advantage. Although his teammate McRae steals back 3 seconds here. Spectacular and second fastest at Escardafith, Wilson's Dunlop shot Audi lies in third place. Back on the ranges once more, and Brooks' steely commitment and vast experience are obvious. His lead stretches to 19 seconds. Michel Mouton's down-on-powered engine is compounding the Quattro's tarmac disadvantage. She's down in 7th place. After setting fastest time over Escardafith, David Llewellyn is 4th and making a big impression. Having repaired a faulty distributor between special stages, Terry Cavy's Nissan 240 RS is back in the hunt. Auricula's co-driver is decidedly under the weather, so Penty has a very special reason for wanting to charge through this stage just as quickly as he possibly can.
I think my driving is quite bad because Colin is a bit sick.
Is this normal for a co-driver?
In my case, yes. Now, seriously, it hasn't happened to him before, and so I don't know.
So what can you do?
Of course, carry on, of course.
into the forests again, and even though he's back on the loose, Brooks is hard at work proving that a two-wheel drive Opel can stay up the front even in Quattro country. He sets a superb fastest time over 21 miles of Hafren Forest. Stuck in second gear for over half that mileage, a worried Wilson drops 1.5 minutes. While McRae drops a further 11 seconds behind Brooks. Michelle Mouton's down-on-power engine has been joined by gear selection difficulties, and she's in 5th place behind her young teammate David Llewellyn, who is upholding Audi fortunes in 2nd place behind Brooks. In Hafren Forest, he's just 1 second slower than the leader. Behind this intense battle raging between Mantas and Quattros, Terry Caby's Nissan is in 6th place, just ahead of Tony Pond's Computer Vision Rover, which is comfortably leading Group A despite numerous minor problems. Hurling the diminutive Peugeot downhill to great effect is Michael Sundström. He's 11th overall and leading Eklund in the Duckham's Toyota, which has lost almost 3 minutes with a puncture in Hafren Forest. Sadly for Per, it won't be his last. Comfortably leading his class despite a transmission failure early on is Hogland Skoda as the cars head towards Aberystwyth and a 4-hour break. Dawn on Sunday morning and Russell Brooks' gargantuan efforts to stay in the lead have been dashed by 2 punctures, and there are even worse misfortunes in store. So after a string of 5 consecutive fastest times over the rally's northern loop, the new leader is Malcolm Wilson. The advent of rain and consequent slippery conditions comes as a further boost to Quattro runners. Michelle Mouton is now 3rd as McRae tries to recover from 2 punctures and a costly overshoot which damaged the steering rack. Over 3 minutes were lost and the Scotsman is down to 4th, fighting back hard. Tony Pond is now 5th, a full 5 minutes ahead of his nearest Group A rival. The big rover being nursed through the forest with obvious care. Despite a hectic charge from Eklund, which takes him from 17th to 9th, the Toyota's progress is continually frustrated by punctures. The team eventually recording 5 in all, more on this one event than in the previous 2 seasons.
Very, very muddy. You know, some places 2 inches of mud.
Did you have any funny moments yourself?
No, we slowed down to see if we could have done anything with Russell. He's off in the mud. Then 2 or 3 corners after that, we spun as well and almost went off. But we've got no problem since then.
Where does this leave you now?
I think we're 3rd, just a few seconds behind Michelle. But she's taking time out as now. The stage has been so muddy.
Brooks' retirement puts David Llewellyn back up to 4th place. The talented Welshman had initially dropped to 7th spot after losing 4 minutes on the 13-mile Derby stage with an electronics failure. And his charge back up the field takes him past Pond, who remains a secure and untroubled 5th. After disappearing down the notorious fire break in Derby Forest, Terry Caby has recovered to take 6th place ahead of Chris Lord's sadly battered Quattro, the Yorkshireman having rolled his car at the same spot. Finishing in 8th place and 2nd in Group A are Michael Sundström and Paul White in the Peugeot 205 GTI, a great result.